Welcome back to Smoke Signals. Today we're stepping into heavy hitter territory with the Placencia Alma Fuerte Sixto 2, a 6x60 hexagonal box press that looks like it was designed by someone who really enjoyed geometry class. This is a Nicaraguan Puro built from Placencia's best-aged reserves, the kind of tobacco that's older than half the people giving opinions on Reddit. It's bold, it's refined, and it's definitely not an everyday cigar. Unless you're a lottery winner, in which case, call me. The Placencia story begins in 1865, when Eduardo Plasencia left the Canary Islands and started growing tobacco in Cuba. 5 generations later, the family has farms across Honduras and Nicaragua and supplies leaves to what feels like half the cigar industry. They're the quiet overachievers of the cigar world, like the kid in school who does everyone's homework and then casually gets a scholarship. Alma Fuerte, meaning strong soul, was created to put their own name in the spotlight finally. The Sixto 2 takes that idea and says, "Spotlight? No, we want the IMAX version." It's big, bold, and proudly hexagonal, because apparently circles and rectangles were too basic. Right from the torch, the Sixto 2 opens with dark chocolate and roasted coffee, the kind of aroma that makes you regret every gas station cigar you've ever smoked. There's a snap of black pepper and warm baking spice through the retrohale, not aggressive. More like the seasoning the chef uses before he tells you, "This one's not on the menu." Under all that, you get a soft dried fruit sweetness. Plum, raisin, maybe fancy fruitcake, but the kind people actually eat. The smoke output? Let's just say it produces more clouds than a 19th century locomotive going uphill in January. Underneath that elegant wrapper is a full Nicaraguan blend, Criollo 98, from Estelí, Jalapa, Condega, and sometimes Ometepe. Basically a tour of Nicaragua packed into 6 sturdy inches. The wrapper, dark, oily, and doing more flavor-heavy lifting than a college kid at moving day. The binder, the quiet engineer keeping this hexagon burning straight. And the fillers, Estelí for muscle, Jalapa for sweetness, Ometepe for volcanic minerality. Because nothing says treat yourself like tobacco grown near an active volcano. Draw is typically firm but fair, like a handshake from a guy who wants you to know he lifts. Burn lines stay sharp along the hexagonal edges, which is impressive, because I can't even get some cigars to burn straight when they're round. The ash stacks in thick chunks, the kind that dare you to test gravity and inevitably win. In the second third, the pepper chills out and the cocoa softens. A molasses sweetness slides in, and the dried fruit gets richer. Fig, plum, maybe even that jam your aunt makes that costs way too much, but you buy it anyway. There's also a toasted nut undertone. Not enough to call it peanut butter, but enough that you wouldn't be shocked if a squirrel tried to steal it. The strength creeps upward. Nothing crazy, but you'll definitely feel the transition. If the first third was the appetizer, this is the entree that reminds you you're not going anywhere for a while. This is a serious cigar, so let's talk pairings. Best compliment: a well-aged bourbon with caramel, vanilla, and oak. The sweetness wraps perfectly around the Sixto 2's darker notes. Around 100 proof is ideal, strong enough to stand up, not so strong that you suddenly think texting your ex is a good idea. Best contrast: a rye whiskey with pepper and herbal bite. The rye sharpens the cigar's chocolate and earthiness and keeps the palate lively. Think of it as a palate cleanser with an attitude. Wildcard pairing: a tawny port or chocolate-forward stout. These mirror the cigar's dessert notes so well that every puff and sip feels like a matchmaker introduced them. Whatever direction you choose, this is not a grab a LaCroix and mow the lawn cigar. This is a sit down, breathe out, and contemplate your life choices cigar. Entering the final third, the sweetness fades, and the cigar leans into charred oak, dark roast coffee, and pepper, returning like it forgot its keys. It grows stronger here, not harsh but assertive. The earth gets deeper, the spice ramps up, and the finish lingers long enough to ask if you've got any weekend plans. This is where the name Alma Fuerte shows up in full force. Strong soul, strong finish, and strong reminder that you probably shouldn't smoke this on an empty stomach. This is not a beginner cigar, unless your goal is to begin and end your journey on the same day. But if you love rich Nicaraguan profiles, if you enjoy cigars that evolve, demand attention, and take their time, and if you appreciate craftsmanship from people who've been doing this for over 150 years, then the Placencia Alma Fuerte Sixto 2 is absolutely worth your humidor space. It's pricey, yes, but so is every good memory. If you want the full flavor map, pairing charts, and written review, grab the link in the description and the first comment. And if you enjoy smart, story-driven cigar reviews, no smoke on camera, just the craft and the flavor. Hit subscribe and join us here on Smoke Signals. Plenty more cigars and plenty more whiskey are on the way.